another day. Look how foggy it is. But look how high my wheel arches are off the wheels. I'm loving it. Got to be more economical like that. Got as far as putting that board on, and I've started to put that board on, and then like a numpty, I just realised, right, I've got the wire down here for the light. You know, I've put it ready to put the roof lights up, and somewhere behind there is the extractor fan. So I've put bloody 20 million bloody screws in it, but I've got to take it back down now to find out where because normally I write the measurements on the wall, but I've forgotten to do that. So I've got to take it back down. I'm hoping I've only got to take 2 rows of screws out, that it'll bow down enough for me to get in there and get the measurements. What a numpty. Got the board down so far. So yes, I can get to measure it. I'll measure it back to there, and I'll measure it from off the walls and measure the width of it, and I should be able to duplicate it on the outside, and there's enough room there for the jigsaw. I remember now when I first lined it, it is exactly 2 foot from the wall, both sides to the edges, and it's an 8-inch diameter, so is all I've done. I don't know whether you can see that or not, but I measured it back from there. I marked the ceiling, measured it in, marked it there, 8 inches across, marked it there, and then I got the 4-inch mark in the middle, 2 foot from that wall, came to there, 2 foot from this wall, came to here. So I just measured 4 inches out to mark all the outer, so I can just join the dots now. That's in, sealed off from inside the boards. I've tested it on the battery. That's what the wire's out for, and it's still running. So that's in anyway now, and that's all fitting. Right, now the other thing I didn't really like is that I bought this day before yesterday from our local builders merchants, and it's a reddish, you know, it's a reddish like that. That's even redder. That's what they end up like, right? And this I got from the same builders, right? And it's turned out that it's that colour, right? That's the sheet I've just put up on the ceiling. That's the sheet I'm about to put on the ceiling to do these 2 sides, and they're different bloody colours. I got that from B&Q in Hereford. I had to travel to get it, and this I got at the local builders. Actually, the B&Q one is a far better quality than our local builders. This seems to flex a little bit more than this. Is fairly solid. I haven't got my glasses on, but this is only I can't count. Oh, it's 5 ply, yeah, and that's 5 ply. So, well, it's got to be. So it's going to have white down that side. It's going to get covered anyways, you know. It's just that I get annoyed with my OCD. Right, I've cut that down, and I've overlapped it 2 inches. I marked, before I put the board up, I marked 2 inches back in off the edge, both ends. Right, I've clamped that to the ceiling, pushed it up. I've got props underneath it. Doesn't matter that it sags a little bit. This one's wedged tight, right, so there's no movement. I've got to move them both again. But as you can see, I've only got an inch gap down there, right? So when I make a scriber 2 inches wide and run it down the edge of there, right, I will get a perfect scribe line all the way along there, in theory. So I got to move this prop so I can get in there with a pencil, and I'll mark it all down for you and show you. Right, let's get over in the light. I cut a piece of ply, thin piece of ply, put a point on it, and drilled a hole in it the size of my pencil, 2 inches from that edge. So now I will run that there like that, right, and scribe all the way along it. Right, the only discrepancy that's going to appear is the thickness of the ply. It's added to it, so there might be a small amount of very small trimming, possibly just sanding to sand it off to get round like that obstacle. There's another one there that's dead on 8 foot. That's why I went that way, because it falls right on a joint. Yeah, I'm going to have a joint there, but I won't have one right across. But it all helps to keep it all in line and all parallel. As I said, the cupboards, the overhead lockers will cover that anyway. So I'm not too fussed. I don't know yet whether I'm carpeting it or painting it. I'm going to the degree where I'll most probably carpet up the wall and out a little bit, you know, in the visible places, out a little bit, all right, and put a trim all the way along it. Because here, this is where it's going to show the most. When you come off here, up, and you're going to have a carpet line, and I didn't really want that, so I'll most probably come up and come out a tad to make it cover that, because otherwise you've got to try and paint that, and it's not going to happen. But anyway, that's cheaper than any tool you can buy to run a scribe line. Right, that's what it looks like when I've marked it on there. That one's quite a deep one, so all the rest are nice and shallow, and you can see the varying in the board, you know, the pencil line. It does get wider and narrower. So that's all that done. So it's all I got to do. Check that they're still on the lines, that I haven't moved it. Yeah, they're still on the lines. Perfect. So I can take it down. And I'm going to cut it. I know it's cut into several times, but I cut it just a few mil off the line on the waist side, and then refit it as though I can just trim it slightly afterwards. Well, that's how close I am. Nice tight joint all the way down there, and it's just at the right thing there. Joint perfect along there until we get to this end, and it is over as far as it can go. Right, and I'm, what's that, 2 mil, 3 mil out just on this end. So is all I've got to do is shave it from there up to there. So I'll if I can find my pencil. Okay, what you done with my pencil? That blue thing there. So it's from, yeah, from there right up to the end. And is what I'll do is I'll put a pencil mark there. Alright, I've put a pencil mark there, and once I got it down, lay it on the floor, I've got a straight edge, and I'll join those two marks up, and I know then I'll go and get the plane, and I'll plane some of that off. It'll be easier with a plane, but then it should fit absolutely perfectly. I don't know why I'm bothering so much, because it's going to get covered anyway. But yeah, I mean, if it was going to be like a vinyl or something like that, I would have made it in one, vinyled it on the bench, and then fitted it. But I'm not going that precise. I'm not going to go that precise with it, purely because I am going to cover it in something. I might even just put something down the edge, like they're all doing, a bit of rope. I don't like it, but because spiders love building cobwebs on them. You know, it's going to get covered with something, whether it's going to get painted or covered. I'd rather cover it, you know, with the carpet and make it warmer. I know carpet adds a lot of weight to the van, but I'm not too unduly worried over that. As you can see by my wheel arches, I got loads of room to expand on it. All the way down there, it's not going to worry because it's going to have overhead lockers, and they'll be out that far. They'll come out that distance. Those that were there before, that's the gap that was there. I made the lockers first and then put that board up after. So you can see roughly how big the board, the lockers were. I think they were 12 inches, 13 inches high, and about 10 inches deep. Anyway, so there, I've shown you how to do that. That's my tip of the day, just to get a decent scribe line. I mean, it wasn't, you know, as I said, it's the thickness of that ply that you've got to take into account. They all fit there perfect now, and it is just a little bit of metal, as though it sinks into it and reaches the top and gets round the curve. Right, that's all screwed up. I would have preferred it to be the same colour, like, that's my OCD cutting in, but now I'm just measuring to fit that piece up there, and then I can take all the plywood back out of here and get on building the bed is first, because it's got to be built to a certain height that my bike will go underneath, because that's the essential one. The bike's got to go underneath, but I've also got to have a look, because it's getting worse. I've also got to look at the height of a mobility scooter, as I can put a mobility scooter under there just in case, so it has to fit that as well, and then I won't need the bike. But anyway, that's all done now. I've got ply for there now. I'll just make that up and put that up there. Don't need to film that. I am so glad to say that that's it. All the ply can go back in the house, because it's all ply line now. I am chuffed to bits. So now the ply can go away, the timber can come out, so because I can start on my bed, and until I got the bed and roughly know where it's going, I don't know what size to make units and what space I got left. So I have ordered bed slats, and so it says they're going to be delivered on the 19th, and today is the 11th, so another week to wait. So I'm absolutely over the moon, and I tell you, even though the sun's out, the sun's been out all morning, it's just gone overcast now. It's forecast rain later on today, but we had real thick fog this morning, but we've had absolute beautiful wall-to-wall sunshine, not a cloud in the sky, and now it's gone overcast, and the leisure batteries have absolutely fully charged, and fully charged the van battery. So at least go, because I'm using the radio, everything's still connected to the van. I had to re-divert all that cabling down there to run everything on the van battery. So that's it. I'll leave it.
floor.
That's a lot of kerfuffle just to get in the van.
Shush.
Right, look. I want you to hold that tape measure there.
You can go do that.
Yeah? You reckon you can do that?
No.
Right. And then I'm going to run it across to there. And I thought it was 5.
Okay.
Right. I thought it was 5'11", but it isn't. It's 6'2". 6'2" across. So I corrected myself there. A lot of people saying you won't get that out of a transit, and believe me, you will. I know there's hardly anything in it, but I can't believe how high it is sat on the back end. There's, there's only batteries in there, and all the drawers are still full. There's still quite a bit of weight in the back, but it come up a long way. I'm hoping it'll stay that high. And this is the state of my backyard. That's all the interior out of the van under there. Keeping a lot of it. It's going to get used somewhere else. That's all rubbish. That's got to go down the tip. That's all rubbish. That's got to go down the tip. Got to keep some of the ply back, because that's sealed anyway. So that shouldn't hurt in the rain. So all that's got to go down the tip. And that's all the 50mm. That's Celotex, that is. Yeah, that's Celotex. That's 50mm Celotex. That's the only 2 sheets I got left. And they're, 18 inches wide by 8 foot long. So, if anybody wants a shower tray to fit a Thetford, Thetford's there. Sink units there. And a shower thing. There is a cassette, but the cassette isn't very clever. It is there, but it wants all new seals and everything, so I think it's cheaper to buy another cassette than it is. But this is the electric one. It's got the electric pump in it for electric flush. So this you could always tell the difference, because these have got a twist thing on the top, and that's normally the water pump. But on these, it's the bog roll holder, and they got a button at the back for flush, and that's the trap door opener. I've got the little front for that. I haven't got the top vanity. It did have like a medicine cabinet, but I cut it off and didn't need that. So there. Still got, look at it, I still can't get in my shed. I emptied the shed, and of course doing that I've fetched a lot of the wood that I'm keeping, that I'm going to be using inside. I've got a bloody worktop there I'm not going to use because that is mega heavy. Kept the table, kept the shower door, because I might use the latch on it. I don't know yet. There's nowhere really that I can think of that I need the latch. But other than that, I got access to my router, my chop saw, my table saw's in there. Yeah, so there's also the 80-litre tank. So, right. If anybody wants to buy that, give us a shout.